The video games industry is one of the most innovative and fastest growing industries in the world. The men and women of this industry work tirelessly to provide entertainment for the masses, and some of these provide the music that we love, music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves playing those video games, music that we love, music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves listening to video games. Do we even know who these people are? No. Would video games be the same without them? No.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday NewsCast with the Indie Game Magazine. I am the Average Gamer, and with me today on the show is Squeaky Bee.
Hey there.
And Whispered.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Y'all are echoing in each other's headsets.
Oh, I tried to fix that.
Oh, goody.
It's okay. It's just when Nick gets really loud, I hear two of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
I'll have to be quieter.
Stop screaming. So how are y'all doing this weekend?
How's everybody in the chat doing this weekend?
I know.
Yeah, right?
Soccer talk already. God.
Oh, man. Oh, good old soccer talk. That's something I used to play soccer a lot, but I was never really into it all that much. But I'm never really into many sports. I'm a video games guy.
What if you... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say my boyfriend played soccer growing up, and so he's kind of into it, but he really only watches when certain teams are playing. So.
Oh, yeah.
I watched my first soccer game like 2 weeks ago. And I haven't seen another one since. Yeah, so I'm definitely into soccer.
Soccer's amazing.
It's a neat sport, but yeah.
It is. It is a neat sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about headsets. I'm using my PS3 headset. I found the USB dongle for it, the Bluetooth thing. I thought I'd lost it. It was just on my bedside table under a bunch of stuff. It was one of those situations. I felt like a moron when I found it. I was like, funny. But I moved that thing to the side already. So, yay. I can't even use my surgery as an excuse for that one because it's been missing for weeks. And I just found it last night.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, at least you found it.
Gremlins. We'll just blame Gremlins.
Yep.
Oh, Gremlins are everywhere.
Very, very much so.
So, shall we get on to some gaming news?
Yes.
So that's why we're there.
First one I wanted to cover has a short video. It's about 30 seconds, so I'm going to show it, even though it's a news piece. And then we're going to tell you what it is. Oh, come on. Oh, good. It doesn't want to show. Technical issues. This is fun. Give me a sec, guys. Switched internet browsing software. I forget what those are called. Browsers?
Yes.
Yes.
You do the internet's good.
I do the internet's good. Why is it? Okay, fine, whatever. That'll work. Does that work?
Interwebs is fun.
Oh, I see something going.
No, you don't. You
No,
just
I
see a
don't.
black screen.
Well, I
Same
thought
as everybody
it was
else.
changing.
There it is. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my god, what's the subregion doing? This is amazing. This is amazingly spectacularly failing.
All right. How
Monitor
about I post
capture
the
it
link?
is.
Okay, I just posted the link in chat. If you guys want to watch the video while Nick is derping around, feel free.
Perfect. So as you can see, Neil Gaiman is making his own game, or at least writing for one. And now we're going to watch a video. So, That's Wayward Manor. Again, Neil Gaiman is the writer for that game. It looks in here, it's described really as a creepy crawly kind of Tim Burton-esque game, which looks like it describes it quite well. Which is kind of neat.
There's a game that is on Congregate. Like, I just have to bring this up because it reminds me so much of this game that it's like, okay, you're haunting and you're scaring people out of your house, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm posting a link to a game in chat called Haunt the House. Same concept, same thing. So I'm interested to see how Neil Gaiman does it differently because it's Neil Gaiman. I mean, come on.
Oh,
But
it's
at the
gonna be
same
so good.
time, yeah, at the same time, it's like, it almost looks like what's being offered here is just, better animation, a familiar name, things like that. And, hopefully like better musical and sound design because it's Neil Gaiman. Come on. So, looking forward to that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'll be interested to see because, like you said, I'm a big Neil Gaiman fan, but I do find that happens a lot in the gaming world where one idea gets taken by somebody else and either is tried to be done better or completely fails.
Yeah, actually, Haunt the House is on Steam. It's being released on Steam as well, probably around the same time as this.
Yep. Yeah, this
So-
one's coming out in July, so.
Yeah, they're both coming out around the same time. I just find that funny. I don't know, but I like Stardust. Yes.
Yeah,
Stardust.
Stardust, Coraline.
Yes.
Yes.
He also did the Sandman series. That's where I originally know him from.
And
people-
if there's any readers out there, American Gods or
Good Omens.
The Ocean, Good Omens, The Ocean at the End of the Lane.
Yeah.
Those are like amazing.
Good Omens is awesome because it was written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett together. It's just like an amalgamation of everything I love in reading.
That's like the fantasy fans' ultimate pairing. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
their OTP right there.
Yep.
Oh,
it's,
yes.
It's crazy good.
Yeah, my cousins. I mentioned this in Skype earlier. My cousins worked on Coraline. One of them did animation. They both work on stop motion animation for like Robot Chicken and shows like that. And the other one did basically all of the costumes that weren't knit. Like if they didn't have to be knit or knitted, then she designed them.
That's cool.
That's
So-
very cool.
It's pretty neat. So yeah, I'm a Neil Gaiman fan because he gave my family jobs. All right.
Next up in news, be my guest.
Yay! Next up, let me post this link because there's no fancy video on this one. It's just a really neat story. The FCC has an initiative for it's called the Accessibility and Innovation Initiative, and it's basically there to reward people for making communication methods that are inclusive. That's literally what it is. And I don't know if we've talked about him on here, but Ian Hamilton helped work on something called the Game Accessibility Guidelines. And there's like this whole big website, which of course I'm gonna, post in chat so that you guys have those as well. And it's just essentially a place where game devs can look and find out, how do I make this game accessible to these types of people? Autistic, even blind, deaf, colorblind, things like that. How do I make this accessible? How do I make this playable? And working with actual disabled gamers as well as other game devs, they tested out these guidelines and tried to find the best things for everybody. And the FCC awarded this group with the Chairman's Award for Advancement in Accessibility, which is really freaking exciting because this is a huge step forward in inclusive gaming because the disabled population makes up 20% of the gaming population, and it's like 15% of the regular population. We're the largest minority in gaming and in the country at this point. And so more inclusivity is like a big freaking deal. And so I'm really excited about it.
That's amazing. That's very good.
And it's not something that's new to the newscast or new to IGM here. We it's nice to try and cover this, and you're seeing more and more and more and more stories of developers that are trying to cater to like accessibility guidelines, that kind of thing too. So it's really exciting to see a little actual oomph coming behind it here.
That's my pet project at IGM is to bring inclusivity along the way so that we can pay attention to that as well.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Completely. Yeah. So this is the last Sunday newscast ever. No, of the month. So one thing I like doing is a monthly Kickstarter roundup, just talking about the games that we've seen throughout the month and where they're sitting now, whether or not they made it. So I'll just rant off a couple here. If you guys want to jump in on any of the games, be my guest if you remember them at all. But the first one I want to cover, Sunset, controversial game that we had last week.
Yes.
That one has 17 days left, and it's sitting at 169% funded. So that
Which
one,
is awesome.
yeah, great game. Horrible video. I think it needed to explain the game more, but I think the people that made it had enough of a fan following that it was going to get funded either way.
Yeah, I think Biwi actually pointed that out last week. She's like, I love the studio. So she's like, I love everything they've ever done, so of course I would support this because I love them.
Yeah, exactly. Which, a lot of times is if you can build an audience, that's the hard part. But if you can build an audience, then you've got a lot of good support when you're trying to do creative endeavors. Next one, Together, Amna and Saif. If you guys remember that one, Savvy and I showed that one off. It's in its last day. It's got about 24 hours left, and they are 132% funded. So,
Is that the mom and son?
mom and daughter.
Mom
No,
and
yeah, you're right. Mom and son. trying
Yeah,
to
that
save
one
the
looked
daughter.
really good.
Yeah. We were worried about that one because it's local multiplayer only. There's no single player. There's no online multiplayer. So we weren't sure if that one's going to make it. But the game was really nice, and I really liked the idea of where the studio was coming from. So I'm glad to see that one being made.
Awesome.
Bit of a surprise here, Midora. If anybody remembers that, it's like a retro Zelda, like Link to the Past style game. Except it had crafting, and it had this huge open world and that kind of stuff. It's got 14 days left. So, I mean, it's still doing okay, but it's only at 54%. I thought that one was going to get funded a lot quicker.
How many days does it have left, sorry?
2 weeks. 2 weeks left.
That's tight, but they might be okay still.
Yeah. HomeMake, if anybody remembers that one was a funky one where it's textures and open world, and you could like possess other creatures in the world, and everybody hated it because it was really, really weird looking. That one's at 69%. They have 10 days to go, so.
I think where they fell short there was I love the idea of the animated textures within things, but they didn't give the world enough solid edges, if that makes sense. So it was hard for you to know what you were interacting with. It was really visually blurring, I found.
Yeah.
Good point.
Definitely needs some depth.
The Far Reaches, this one had an amazing Kickstarter video that showed nothing of the gameplay, and I suspected it was almost a browser-based game.
Nick, you are echoing something fierce right now.
Okay. We're going to have to figure this out.
It's all good.
Actually,
it sounds like you're leaning farther back from your microphone, and so your voice is echoing. That's what it sounds like.
Can you just turn your mic off
Yeah, sure.
and sit over here?
Okay.
Okay.
So cuddle up, get close.
The Far Reaches. Amazing video. I didn't see anything of the gameplay. I kind of assumed it was not going to be that great of a game. They have 12 days left, and they are 4% funded.
God.
So, yeah. Didn't think that one was going anywhere, and I'm glad to see that even if you're trying to sell a Kickstarter video, people are usually going to see through it.
Yeah, we touched on this a little bit before the show. There's some things that, game devs need to learn are, some basic communication. It's not enough just to be able to build a game anymore. You have to know how to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't make a good video, if you can't write a good email, You know, if you can't use social media effectively, then you're going to have less of a chance of being able to be successful.
Yep. Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
really, it's a shame, but man, I mean, that's the way it goes these days.
Yeah.
But indie games especially, it's so saturated right now that you
Oh,
really
yeah.
need to stand out.
Yep. And you can't stand out with a Kickstarter video. You actually need to have a little gameplay to back it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Voidspace. This one made a bit of a splash. Being a lot of people call it the Dogecoin MMO. So it was the MMO you can make actual money with. I thought it was pretty interesting. It had a lot of neat and unique, what's it called, mechanics. And so this is one that I actually backed. However, they're sitting at 5% with 12 days left. Their goal was way too high, like 275 grand for a studio that has done nothing before, and I'm assuming will do nothing after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. It was a great game, but oh well. Temporus. This one has 22 days left. We only showed it last week, and it looks awesome, but it's already 21% of the way into its Kickstarter. So keep an eye on that one. I'm sure that one's actually going to make it.
Our Tempura game.
Yep. I really liked it. It was retro-y and fun.
I barely remember what it's about because literally as soon as the video started last week, I was hungry for like shrimp tempura. Like, I literally can only think of battered fried food when I see the name of that game.
Little do you know that they have a partnership with like Asian food places in every city.
Yeah, with oh, I can't remember the name of it. Benihana or something.
Sweet. The Captain is Dead. This one we showed 3 weeks ago, I think. And it still has its 13 days left. And it's sitting at 2,141% funded.
Well then.
So
Wow.
name a stretch goal, and I'm sure they'll put it in and make it for you. What else? Catlateral Damage. Everybody want to see this one funded. It's got 12 days left, and it's 107%. So the
So excited.
full version of running around and screwing with your cat is going to come out.
I actually have
No,
a
running
story.
around as your cat.
As your cat, sorry.
So I don't know if our cat watched the video, but literally the day after, she was running around knocking everything off all the shelves.
Of course.
That's actually how she woke us up today. She knocked a lamp onto herself twice. So, yeah, go cat. Black Cat's Story. This one was interesting. It had a horrible art style, but I found that it worked for the game, and if you improved the art style for the game, it wouldn't have made it. It would have like turned it into something that was not good looking. Anyway, it has 8 days left, and they managed to raise $88. So clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this kind of stuff.
That one was risky. Like it's an interesting idea, but not a lot of people will get what they're trying to get at, I think.
Yeah, it was really good though. I love the humor in it. It was hilarious.
Aw.
I think the thing is you usually see those kinds of games like in that style for free. So that
Yeah.
people see it
Yeah,
and
that's
say,
true.
well, why are we paying money for this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Witchmarsh, which we showed in the first week this month, is done its Kickstarter, and it's at about 200%. They needed 50 grand, and they got over 100,000. So that one is awesome, and it's going to be coming out. It looks like a 4-player League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is like the best way I can say it. It looks really fun, though. So I'll keep an
Sounds
eye out for that
interesting.
one. Yeah. Okay, and that's it for my roundup. We are going to cover one more game that we have already shown, which you guys will talk about. But I love this one, and I'm surprised. They have 9 days to go, and I think that they should already be funded.
I do too. When I covered this yesterday on the site, I was just like, really?
Mm-hmm.
This game isn't
Mm-hmm.
funded?
It was
Oh my
really
God.
surprising. But
All right, I'm going to go ahead and post a link in chat.
yeah.
We are talking about that one first, right?
Yep. And we're going to watch a video now. And PG's going to be like, I need to buy this.
Hi, my name's Owen.
I'm Paul.
And we're from Bitsmith Games. We want to introduce you to our new game, Frankenjohn. Frankenjohn is a roguelike smash 'em up, set in a weird B-movie funhouse full of strange horrors. You play as young Frankenjohn, a weird creature with the head of Frank and the body of John. You wake up, confused and dazed, surrounded by weird, monstrous creations and dangerous traps. You need to smash your way up to the top of this mansion to confront your creator, to figure out why he's making all these things and what the hell is going on in this bizarre world.
Our aim at Frankenjohn is to create the type of game that we love to play. It takes inspiration from classics such as Zombies Ate My Neighbors on the Super NES, The Binding of Isaac, and Dark Souls. We're bringing Frankenjohn to PC, Mac, and Linux.
Let's talk about our favorite feature of Frankenjohn, skullcaps. In the game, you'll have the chance to swap out your head for over 100 of these different types of skullcaps. Each one gives Frankenjohn strange new abilities. The demon head, for example, will allow you to shoot fireballs and incinerate your enemies. Or the Tesla coil skullcap will allow you to electrify an entire area.
The Petter Skullcap allows you to swing your head around in an attempt to fly across the level. The Velcro Skullcap sticks to enemies and objects and drags them towards you.
We're going to have over 100 of these in the final game. Some of them are going to help you, some of them are going to make the game more difficult, and some of them are going to just make the game weird. Designing them is one of our favorite things about working on this game.
Another big part of the game is customization. We have created these body parts that can be collected, swapped in, and upgraded.
So you might find a pair of legs that will allow you to run around faster or jump higher, or a torso piece which will raise your defense.
We really want you to experiment with different playstyles and find new ways to play the game.
Frankenjohn setting is this crazy, huge mansion that houses 4 distinct worlds that Frankenjohn must pass through. Each of these worlds has its own unique aesthetic, its own tone, its own set of enemies and traps, and they all are completely different from one another. So the Garden of Denial is full of these zombies and half-dead, half-rotting enemies with bits of plants growing out of them and rotted bits. Similarly, in the Furnace of Anger, which is this big clockwork-filled mechanical level full with bubbling pools of lava, the enemies within it are also these soft, organy bits spliced together painfully with chains and spikes, and they're angry at their situation and take their frustrations out of Frankenjohn.
So let's meet the rest of the team.
My name's Ralph, and I'm the sound designer.
I'm Owen, I'm the producer and one of the game designers.
I'm Paul, my lead game designer.
I'm Robbie, and I am the programmer. Lead programmer.
There.
My name's Basil, and I'm the artist. Artist.
So why are we here? Well, over the last year, we've been building Frankenjohn on a budget of basically zero. But with your help, we want to move on to Frankenjohn full time. We want to make this the best game that it can be. But perhaps more importantly, we want to do something else as well. We want to build a community. We want to find the others, find the people who are really passionate about these kind of games like we are. And we want to involve you in the process. We want to find out where we're going right and where we're going wrong. We want to involve you in design decisions, what enemies we're going to create, what the new areas are going to look like. So please, back the project and help us turn Frankenjohn into something truly amazing.
So, Frankenjohn, thoughts?
I like it.
Hi, my name's
Ooh. It's cute and it's kitschy, and I loved it when they first started the Kickstarter, and I'm really surprised. They're only at about 33%.
I know that, like, yeah, that upsets me because it seems like it's custom made for a bunch of indie game players.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a Frankenstein type monster, but it's a little kid. You know, the name is hilarious. Frank and John. Frank's the body, John's the head. I mean, hello, that's hilarious. You swing your head around to smack people out of the way, and you get different they're not hats, they're actually skull caps. Like, you replace the top of John's head with items that change abilities, and it's randomized. It's a randomized roguelike game. Like, the success of so many of these games, in other places, I'm just confused that this game is not being received as, like, openly, I guess.
Completely agree with that assessment. What were you going to say, Whispered?
Oh, it's a beautiful video. Like, they do a really good job of showing what they have. So yeah, I'm confused too.
Honestly, I think this one is really just one of the ones that fell through the cracks. There's no rhyme or reason for why it isn't doing well. It's just not doing well.
That's really unfortunate.
If there's a, they had a thing, let's see. Oh, I was looking at a different one, but if you pledge £8 or more, I guess it's 13 American dollars or 10 euros, you get a Steam key for Frank and John with early access. And for a game like this that has a lot of replayability, there's also a second character. Like, that's not a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get a bunch of wallpapers, and you get, your name in the game and stuff. So, and that it's pretty immediate. Like, you get that within 12 hours.
And they have an early bird special for that too, where it's £8, and they have 18 left of those. So if you guys want it, you can get.
Sorry, that's what I said.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant because you were saying the £10, but yeah.
No, 10 euros, which is different than pounds.
Either way, they have that, and they have the early bird special for the 8.
You guys are both saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Euros and pounds are two different things.
I know, but I just mean there's one for 10, and there's one for 8.
Which is 10 pounds. And
yeah,
then
and there's
8.
one for 8.
I know, which is the one I just read.
That's what we're both saying.
I know. Sorry. It's just making me laugh. Yeah, but that's not a bad price. Like, $13 for, a game, and you get it immediately. It's early access, which means it's going to be updated. You get Challenge Arena download, HD wallpapers, like that. I don't know. There's no reason why this game shouldn't be doing better.
Mm-hmm.
So there is the Challenge Arena demo on the page, like Nick said in chat. So y'all should check it out, and if you want to support it, support it. If not, that's cool too. But I just really like this one.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Explosive Dinosaurs.
Yay!
They
I did an
are
interview
dinosaurs.
with one of the devs of this game. He was really nice.
Oh, cool. All right, we'll watch the video here.
Are dinosaurs, and they are explosive. Meet Nitro, Dinah, Fizz, and Chloe in a new multiplayer party game that will blow your mind. Explosive Dinosaurs. More than 40 different mini-games to choose from. Comic-style graphics. Groovy, funky music. Lots of fun. Lots of competition. Lots of challenges. And lots of explosions. The dino exploitation is coming. Explosive Dinosaurs. Caution, this video game is highly explosive.
Oh, for the ooh yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. I like it. It's
now, Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm excited about this one too. The neat thing about this game is that you can make your own levels and share them with everybody. It's like Steam Workshop turned up to, 11. It's really neat.
I like the Grindhouse style intro video. That was really fun.
I have to say too, and in a game where it's dinosaurs, so you don't really think about gender, they have 50-50. So you can be one of 2 girls or one of 2 guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Socially conscious there.
Pretty damn awesome.
Noticed that stuff.
I don't think that they're going to make it, but they're also on Greenlight, which means they're pretty much planning to make the game regardless. They just want to make it better.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was going to say,
Misfits mentioning the 90s, that stood out to me too. It looks a lot like a 90s cartoon or video game.
And they did do that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The comic book style, it was done that way. Like, I posted the link to the interview, but Pablo Navarro, the guy I interviewed, he explained why it was done that way, and it was just basically like, we liked it, so that's what we went with. And it was like a friendly, all right, bitches kind of way, but
It worked for Awesome Nuts.
yeah, pretty much, So, and it's a multiplayer party game, and we don't have enough of those that aren't dominated by like Nintendo.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
So
Completely
I like it.
agree.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, I don't think it's going to make it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like their Kickstarter is going to make it.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
fine with the Steam greenlight, but still unfortunate.
I know.
So, the next one, let's whisk you away to a magical place where everything is dead and dying and the only thing you have is your family.
Well, that's cheerful.
Sheltered is an upcoming strategy game where you manage a small family in a post-apocalyptic era. You must ensure the day-to-day survival of a father, mother, daughter and son.
There are numerous dangers to overcome, including starvation, radiation sickness, dehydration, and most of all making sure survivors on the surface do not compromise the well-being of your shelter.
The player will be presented with many moral decisions, which can have a dramatic effect on the survival of your family. The game will feature a turn-based combat system based on a retro D&D style rule set.
We've got lots more ideas for the game and features that we'd like to add, but we would also like the community to be involved to add more features in the future. We hope you like what you've seen so far.
And with your help, we hope to make this game the best that it can be.
That's it. Short video. Should have been longer. So I think that game has a lot of potential. They did get backed. They had 5 days to go, and they are nearly 5,000 over their goal. So that's nice.
Let's see, their stretch goals. They've their next stretch goal is 20,000 pounds, and they're gonna put it on Android and Apple tablets.
I would love that for my tablet.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that like survival game where you're trying to make a living for yourself. So that's kind of cool.
I imagine it's going to be like Oregon Trail, but without the traveling.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cute. I like the graphics on it. Like the little pixel art is really nice.
It's the cutest apocalypse Whispered has ever seen.
I think I've seen some cuter, but...
That's funny.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like the style. I don't know. It seems like it's fun. I would have liked to have seen more in the video.
Yeah, I agree. That style is becoming really popular. It always reminds me of Super Brothers because I think that they've done that style the most justice, but I see it more and more and more and more.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't play much of Super Brothers because the mechanics of the game were a little awkward for me. But yeah, that type of pixel style, it reminds me of, it sounds really weird, but you know Debbie Ever?
Yep.
She's, it just reminds me of her Twitter icon for some reason, just like random, but she does some stuff that's like that reminds me of her art style.
Yo.
Which style? The one where the people that look like crash test dummies.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with that one, and here's just from an art perspective, it lends itself really well to color palettes, so then you don't necessarily need striking art because you can use striking color.
Interesting, because then you get the contrast that way. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Next up, we're looking at Skara, The Blade Remains.
There was a time when the inhabitants of Skara only fought for dominance. when they only bled for honor, when they only killed for vengeance. That was before jealous loam pierced Selim, before bitter colds froze the north, before the southern lands began to burn, before the great shaking cracked open the mountains, releasing fearsome creatures from its depths. Now, this time of the two suns, only the blade remains.
Skara is free-to-play, multiplayer combat game that mixes a couple of styles, which is versus fighting games and also features from multiplayer games.
Can we take versus fighting into multiplayer? I mean, with the same timing, accuracy, and practice that you need to master a versus with 16 players.
One element of Skara that is really important is that we want to put the future of the game into the hands of gamers themselves.
It is amazing to see how the community of fans has grown from 0 a year ago to more than 50,000 followers we have today. We decided to try and put the game in Steam. For that, we launched a green light and expecting to hopefully get approval within 1 or 2 months. And the response we got from the community was amazing. Like, we were getting thousands of OKs by the community to get the game released in Steam every few hours. We couldn't sleep for the first couple of days. And after only 8 days, Skara got the green light from Steam. So we're very, very pleased about the response, and we think that this is going to create a great community of fans following Skara when the game is live.
So we don't know what will happen in the future between the 5 cultures. It could be that the Durno regain their empire. It could be that the Tambasa come down from the south and conquer all of the rest of the world. It could be that the Cairn destroy everyone. It could be that the Cairn destroy themselves.
Pre-production work started in 2013. We got some office space, bought the equipment, and recruited the team with money borrowed from family and friends. Today, 10 months later, we can play with 2 different characters in 2 arenas and in several game modes. Our plan is to continue improving Skara, and with the $35,000 that we are looking for in Kickstarter, we will continue improving the game for our early access, so we can release our 5 races and 5 arenas plus the Coliseum, a special arena for 1 versus 1 fights and tournaments. We will use any extra proceeds from the campaign to increase the number of races available up to 7, and the number of arenas up to 11. We will also work on new in-game features such as crafting and trading, and even a scenario editor which will allow players to create their own arenas and invite friends to play in. We also want to include a story mode for every one of the races of Skara, which will be playable both online and offline, for free.
We put together a great team, and today you can see where we are. We have a great product which we're going to put in the shelves hopefully within the next few months. We're now raising money to hopefully complete the game.
So, that was a weird way to end that video.
A little bit, yeah.
Skara, you had a good point there, Whispered.
Yeah, I'm actually really annoyed with the video. It sounds like they have a really rich, awesome world, but when they talk about it, they talk as if we already know everything about it. So it's like, at one point they're like, what's going to happen with all these races? And I was like, there's races?
Yeah.
Which they didn't cover again for like 3.5 minutes, which is interesting.
I think they assume that you're just going to know.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of assumption going on with this.
And that's a big problem in a game where the trailer looks a lot like any other game. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a nice looking game, but from what they showed, it doesn't stand out at all.
It looks to me like a mashup. Like, if you just scroll down a little bit, and there's the picture of it looks like they're in hell, basically. It looks like a mashup between, like, Diablo 3 and Dark Souls.
Yeah, see, I was going to say Kingdoms Rise and Chivalry, where it's kind of just the visceral melee combat, but I don't think they have, like, they've got a great engine, but I don't think they have the physics to back it up for that sword combat the way that Chivalry does or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, what was the comment? I don't think people... the way he fell when he died, didn't know people moved that way. That's what Savvy said, and that was one of the points that was brought up when we were talking about this game in IGM chat. Is it just the movement's kind of clunky?
Yeah.
And they have so much power behind it. Like, the game itself requires 8 gigs of RAM to run properly.
Oh, so like a quarter of my RAM?
Yeah, that's that's what I mean.
No,
Like, we were talking about previewing it, and everybody in the chat was like, so first of all, who can actually, like, start the game on the computer, just period, like, can't just play it. Who can open the game? And I was like, probably Nick, because like, you're the only one who has that much RAM.
I'm that guy.
Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, if you're gonna make a game that powerful, you've got to have the story, you've got to have the the design, the physics, everything to back it up. Otherwise, it's just showing off. And it's like a sterile peacock.
Pretty much.
Sterile peacock. I like it. You gotta let him fly.
Yeah. But that's exactly how I felt at the beginning trailer. They're like, they used to fight for all these bland reasons. Now they fight because the earth broke. I know there's more story. The way they were talking about it, there's more story, but they're not letting us in on that.
Yeah. Well, if they can make $1,000 a day, they're going to make their goal, but otherwise, they are not.
And I hate to say bless their hearts, but I mean, it has so much potential. That's the only thing I'm pissy about this game, is it has so much potential. It looks like it could be good.
Yeah.
They're not marketing it effectively.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Yep.
Next up, we have this one's interesting. This one has the weirdest name ever. We're gonna watch a video about the Deer God.
All right.
The deer god, Bambi 2.
I have to say, this is beautiful. Like, it looks gorgeous. However, if you notice on the title right
They can't see you pointing at the screen.
I'm sorry. But, okay, so it says, The Deer God is a breathtaking 3D pixel art game that will challenge your religion and your platforming skills. And now, I
How
get that
dare
they're trying
they?
to catch attention.
My platforming skills are never to be questioned.
But I don't really get how that would, like, it suggests there's a lot more story. So I went reading on the Kickstarter page, and I don't really see how there'd be a lot of that, like, really deeply challenging story.
Here's what I think they did. Literally, there's like 2 sentences about religion that I've seen. After a hunting incident, a hunter has an unexpected experience. Now the hunter becomes the hunted and the tables are turned. So this is basically Brother Bear with a deer. That's what this is.
Like, it looks beautiful. It looks fun to play. But that line leads me to believe that there's some major challenging story. And I don't see evidence of that.
Maybe it's not until later in the game when you're playing Yahweh the deer.
Well, I know in the synopsis or whatever they wrote, they do mention there is a deer god. So it's interesting. I just hope, I don't know. That line is very...
There is some inspiration from Capybara's Sword and Sorcery. Wow, I didn't notice that. Cough.
3 lines down from that. The deer god is also dedicated to a small cardinal whom I ran over recently. I feel bad about it, so I've decided to give him a second life within this game.
Oh, wow.
It's like the sun at night, but not as noble.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious, some of the games that inspire them heavily, like Blaster Master. Who knows Blaster Master?
I do, I loved that game.
It's an educational math game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. However...
Blaster Master is not an educational math game.
What am I... oh, no, I'm thinking of Math Blaster. That's the only one I don't know then. All the other games I love, but I don't see how they really...
It's the style, it's the platforming style for Blaster Master. I can see that one.
But Joust? Echo the Dolphin, they're probably like, yeah, you're an animal that saves the world, so it's Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
But, bro, don't step on my Echo.
But no, I want to make sure that I'm clear. I really actually think this will be a fun, pretty game. But it sounds like they're playing it up a lot more.
I originally thought it was an endless runner. I was like, yay, an endless runner, that you're a deer. And then he like turned around, got piercing antlers. I was like, a deer-roidvania? What?
Well, like, when you read some of the mechanics, they look kind of cool too. Like the fact that when you die, you can reincarnate. And if you reincarnate after you've done some things that the deer god considers bad, you could come back as a plant and get eaten by a rabbit.
Interesting.
Okay, also, you will meet female deer in the game, which will allow you to mate. Sometimes females will be protected by stags, in which you will have to fight to win their hearts. This is Brother Bambi.
Yeah.
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 This game is Brother Bambi.
Yeah.
That's the original storyline. It's like,
oh my goodness.
30 years ago, your mother died in a fire.
Oh, I feel bad like making fun of it because it looks really pretty, and I think that if they'd stop playing up, you know, how deep they want it to be, it could just be like a neat, fun exploration platform game.
It lies to you because it's like, yeah, it's really deep. It's going to be really cool and really deep. But I only made it because I ran over a deer and I have moral issues.
He ran over a cardinal.
Yeah. Oh, a bird. A bird. Sorry.
Bird. Yeah, like, dude, I hit a squirrel when I was 20. I didn't have an existential crisis over it, you know?
But, hey, whatever inspires you to make interesting video games, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's what I mean. I feel bad, like, giving so much snark. But again, this goes to how do you market yourself as an indie game dev?
Yeah.
What do you choose to focus on? Is that something that's good to focus on? Or do you need to, like, back up a second and, you know, take a fuller view of what you're doing and present that rather than getting bogged down in details that other people might not notice, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
or care about, to be frank. Like, I don't know.
That's exactly the problem I find with this one. It talks itself up in the wrong ways.
Next up, we're going to be covering a game that we had on Average Giants last Monday. The game is awesome. The game is so much fun. It's like if the Kerbal Space Program were made out of Legos and then became a real-time strategy game. That's the best way that I could talk about it. The video, however, we all have some issues with, and we're going to watch it and then we're going to chat about it.
Hi, I'm Russ. I'm the lead developer of Terratech. It's a procedural physics-based game about exploring an alien planet and mining resources and blowing stuff up.
We've had really, really great feedback from all the people we've shown it to. I'm really looking forward to getting the game out there.
It's a world that constantly changes, and that makes it very challenging to design for, but also makes it really good fun.
Part of my job as producer is to gather all the great ideas we're getting from everyone and get as many of them as possible into the full game.
In Terratech, you're an off-world miner sent to another planet to gather up all their resources and send them back home to get paid. But you're not the only one there. There's other prospectors in the environment, and you're going to have to battle it out with those guys to get the best stuff.
What we're trying to do is create a world that's full of different kinds of challenges and leave it up to the player to work out how to engage with them. The alien planet is procedurally generated with lots of different environments, each of which has its own dangers and unique rewards. So each time you play, you're going to get a new experience.
As you progress through the game, you unlock different sets of blocks, each provided by different in-game corporations with their own unique styles. For example, Venture have lots of fast, small, light pieces that are great for building scouting vehicles, and Geocorp have heavy industrial mining equipment, which is really good for resource gathering.
The game has a lot of vehicle combat, but as you progress, it will in fact start to become more strategic as you build out a large base and control an entire fleet of units specialised for different purposes.
Occasionally, whilst exploring the environment, you'll find scripted encounters that will change up the pace of play. For example, you might find a canyon where you're challenged to fly across it and you're only given a small selection of blocks to work with. Or you might find an NPC who challenges you to race around their track and you have to build the fastest car that you can.
The single-player experience is already a ton of fun, and we're seeing people having a great time with our free demo. But of course, one of the most anticipated upcoming features is multiplayer, and that's no small amount of work, and that's one reason why we're coming to Kickstarter now for additional funding.
We really want to develop this game in collaboration with our backers. We're getting great ideas from people already, so we've decided to put in features to allow people to share up vehicles with one another and with us. And the very best of those designs, they're surprising us, they're exciting us, they're going to make it into the final game. Every weekday at 5 PM UK time, we stream on Twitch TV. Come along and check it out.
For everyone who backs us for beta access, they'll receive regular bills all the way up to when we release on Steam. We'll also have the option to get exclusive access to our forum.
We've put a lot of work into Terratech, and we still have a lot more to do to get the game finished, including some big features like multiplayer, finishing off the whole of the single-player progression, and we have a load more corporations to put in the game. We really want to make this game as good as it can be for you, and for that we're going to need your support.
Thank you very much for watching. If you like the look of Terratech, please back us. If you want to check out our free demo, it's available from our website right now. Thank you.
Free demo! Free demo, go play!
The game looks fun.
It was so much fun.
It does.
I really love this game.
I love how IGM is quoted that as just saying fascinating game on the Kickstarter.
It's maybe
Yeah.
not the best.
Well, nobody really got a big quote.
Yeah.
I know, it just makes me laugh. Fascinating game.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
That's okay. It makes us, we're the scholarly review site.
Oh, you need a mustache under your logo. A little top hat on the corner.
That would be lovely. We'll talk to Vinny.
Yes.
But I don't know if it was just me. Like, the game looks really, really fun. The video was so boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like a PBS special, like with the music and everything. I felt like I was watching Masterpiece Theater.
I think that's maybe
like
what it
with
was,
how
was
it's
the
made.
music.
You're right, it is a masterpiece. Thank you for that compliment, Bonnie. We actually chatted about that in Average Giants as well. They said that, you know, they were trying to make a good video, and they just threw in some classical music and kind of said that looks good enough. And, you know, if you want to do, I mean, they're doing very well. They're quite lucky that they're doing very well. They have 28 days to go, and they're already about a third of the way into their Kickstarter goal. But if they had put the time into a better video, I think that they would already be funded.
Yeah, because the game concept, it's a good game concept, and even if you're not like playing to win, like gathering resources and stuff, just the different vehicles you can put together.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, it's like Minecraft meets Kerbal Space Program.
Yep.
Hilarious.
For my speed challenge, I used giant monster truck wheels, and I was like, well, I'll put a turbine on here because it gives me good speed. But what else can I do? Giant rocket engines pointed horizontally. And then just make it a giant fuel canister, and there's my vehicle. You can do whatever you want. I think I made part of it actually a hover vehicle as well. It was good. It was fun. They have a whole... It's probably one of the most unique indie games I think I've played in the last year of doing the Average Giant show every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's...
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
what?
I'll go then.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a demo you said, right?
Yep, free demo. Go play.
I think
posted
that's
the
smart
link.
for them.
Thank you.
Because with the way their video is, they have to rely on people trying it and spreading the word.
And I think that's reflected in their pledges right now.
Yeah.
They also have, depending on how much you back, you get earlier and earlier access to the game, and they actually have different clubs and stuff that you can join, because they've got like a whole club of like the people that focus on building aviation, so vehicles for height and distance in the air, and you get to meet up with all them and watch all those kinds of streams and that kind of thing. It's actually really neat. They're already building a community around the game, even in the Kickstarter phase.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's a good way to garner, like, you know, very strong support. It just may not be the best way to garner widespread support.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, exactly.
I'm not big into the community segment of games. I want an interesting game. So someone like me, if you said, oh, well, this game's already got a great community, well, bully for them. You know, that's not why I play games. So that's why I stream, but that's a completely different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, hopefully they can get some stuff.
That game, I can tell you, is not good to stream. Even just playing with Might Be Giant in the room is... You ever had a backseat driver?
I watched it, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious in the worst way.
It's like trying to make Lego when two kids are in the room and only one kid's allowed to make the Lego. It's not a good idea.
I watched the frustration on both of your faces, because every time he would make a suggestion, you would get irritated, and he would get irritated because he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so it was just this symphony of shut the hell up. It was hilarious.
I wish they had multiplayer, at least like a development version of multiplayer, so we could have like built our own stuff and just smashed up against each other, seen how it went. But oh well.
Yeah, it's all good. But that's why I kept saying it was hilarious, because that was what was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Was watching you guys disagree while still trying to be polite on the street. It was really
I think
funny.
you just nailed our relationship since high school.
Pretty much, yep.
Okay. Yeah. Next up, we're looking at Splee and Glob, Monster Defense.
This looks so cute.
name is Julian, and I'm the level and game designer here at Frame 6. We're a small startup company based in Düsseldorf, Germany, and we're making games.
In our current project, we're creating an action RTS game that takes tower defense to the next level, with asymmetric co-op, a versus mode, and non-linear gameplay. Splee and Glob Monster Defense takes place in a colorful fantasy world in which you get to control two very different characters to fend off a robot invasion that is trying to take over your peaceful homeworld. Playing as Splee or Glob, you can use the residents of your world to create lines of defense with munching, crunching, and squishing monsters that come with different combat or support abilities. Splee is a cheeky little engineer with sparse combat abilities, but her tactical skills make more than up for that. Glob's clunky motor skills, on the other hand, are best to engage in hand-to-hand combat or do some heavy lifting.
The story takes place when the robots try to invade the monsters' homeworld with their ships. They try to get to the main resource, which is called goo.
It surfaces nearby tall trees that are scattered across the planet. While you be able to obtain building resources there, it's also your main goal to protect these trees from being destroyed. In each scenario, multiple lanes allow the bots to attack from various angles and force you to keep a close eye on the minimap.
Any strategy title requires an intelligent AI, which is at the same time predictable to the player.
To make things more interesting, we're introducing different ground and air units which all behave differently. While some head straight for the objective, others will find it more interesting to shred your defense.
Luckily, our heroes are not alone in this battle, as they get help from their stationary monster friends.
By mixing aggressive and supportive monsters in a clever way, you'll be able to create self-sustaining defense lines.
The game comes with actually three game modes.
The first is a story campaign that you can play alone, with your friends only, or random players from across the world. The second is a passive competitive mode we call Versus. Play 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 on symmetrical maps, where you are in charge of assembling the bots on the enemy battlefield whilst defending your own. Oh, one more thing. As you progress through the game, you get to unlock more and more content. Monster upgrades and specializations, new combat skills for Splee and Glob, and consumable items for whenever things go horribly wrong.
The game is currently in a prototype state, but if you help us reach the goal, we can release it on Windows, Macintosh, and Ubuntu. And if you help us reach the stretch goals, it will also come out on Wii U, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. So check out the updates which will come in the next weeks, because there's much more to it, and join us to help get this game funded.
Adorable!
That is a really cute game.
I have nothing but good things to say
Yep.
about this.
Go!
First, because we're talking so much about videos, they were so enthusiastic about their own game that even the dry bits came across as really fun. Like, I really enjoyed that video. But otherwise, I just really like tower defense games and adorable things, so...
Yeah, but that was a really well done video. You saw a lot of gameplay, a lot of nice cuts so it didn't kind of drag on. And it was explaining everything they had in the game, how it was going to be played, and everything they wanted to do with the money they made from Kickstarter. So that was a really well done Kickstarter video overall.
I'm terrible with both real-time strategy and tower defense, but I would actually give this one a go because it looks really cute.
It does. From an artistic standpoint too, beautiful colors, great character design, and like
I could use a little more with the animation, but that's just me being nitpicky.
yeah, it's pretty early, so animation is usually one of the last things to get tweaked.
I like the fact that it's got the storyline co-op and a competitive versus. That's That's interesting in a tower defense game. We've seen that before on Kickstarter, but never seen it executed properly. So I'll be interested to see if it makes it. That one, do you guys think is going to make it? It needs 60,000 pounds. It's at about 2,000.
I think they need to really start utilizing, social media more. They got greenlit.
Holy crap, I didn't even see that. Wow, after 2 days, too.
So I'll link the Steam page on chat, but yeah, they've been greenlit, so they should be able to get their game out there, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. If they're depending on, the whole green lighting before the game's even,
It tells people that that's not, like, you're going to make the game either way. So a lot of people I find use Kickstarter as like a pre-order service. So if they see that it's greenlit, I get a lot of, I'll just wait for it on Steam then.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's not a great way to garner financial support because, like you said, that means it's going to get made anyway.
Yeah.
It
As
just
well,
may take
I'd
longer.
like to point out that I'm not scrolling the page right now. My Whispered is trying to find what level she wants to back the game at.
Actually, I'm curious as to if the levels are maybe one of the things that's holding them back.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I'm doing the same thing right now.
There's a whole lot of levels, that's for sure.
There are, and a lot of them are really low, which I mean is good in that it appeals to people, but it looks like a lot of their backers are doing really tiny.
They have too many early bird specials as well.
Yeah, that might be what's killing them.
So many things go into a successful Kickstarter. It's interesting to. There's a whole science to this. You need some of this. You need some of this. You need some of this. You can't have too much of this. While you need more of that. Like, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I totally see the point of putting in low goals because it's nice for someone who can't afford a lot to be able to still get something. But if you have too many, then you're going to need a lot of backers to reach your goal. Is that a fair goal? I don't know anything about pricing.
Yeah, I usually say between 30 and 60,000 is about where you need to be for it to fund an indie game on Kickstarter. It's kind of what I've seen as the go-to.
Yeah.
If you're talking about actual game development, that is pennies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I just meant for Kickstarter. So I don't know. Maybe I think you're right. You just need more social media.
Yep.
They do have a lot of pledge
Levels.
tiers.
Yeah, it's
there's
kind of
a
crazy.
ton of them. Like, they're going up in increments of between 8 and 10 pounds. Like, that's...
And all the way up to like 800.
Which I find too makes some of those really expensive ones not seem as special, maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe not as appealing for people who can't afford them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they've got the 5,000 pounds, and it jumps from 1,250 to 5,000. And then they have an 1,150, and then right below that they've got 850. Like, they're all just so close together. Like that, yeah. I don't want to see this game get made too. I'm all disappointed.
It's frustrating, yeah, because it's confusing if you're trying to pick. Like, God, there are some of the last Kickstarters I backed. You remember the Sentinels?
Yeah.
The way they did that, or even Golem Arcana. Like, when you've got separate tiers for board games, if you're trying to choose options, sometimes it can be ridiculously convoluted to the point that I almost wanted to take my pledge completely away because I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Whereas with Kickstarter, it should be like, yeah, I want to pledge here. Click, boom, done.
Yep, exactly. And I pledge tiers are so important. They're such a huge part of the process. Like, okay, going in a completely different direction in terms of what somebody's kickstarting. There was this, and I apologize to guys who are sensitive about this or girls who are embarrassed by this. I couldn't care less about it, but there was this Kickstarter for this product called Period Panties. And it's, I know, right? Scandal. But basically what they did is they made panties that had really, really funny horror movie themed illustrations on them, and they had like clever names, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I've had a hysterectomy. I backed that Kickstarter.
Oh yeah.
Because like I have no use for panties with like an extra thick reinforced crotch to save your pants from accidents. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was the way it was marketed. It was the way the designs were. The tier levels were really great. There weren't so many tier levels that it was confusing. And I backed it at a level where I have like 3 pair coming, next month. And I don't even need them. I just loved the way the campaign was done, and I thought it was really great. The way that that the page was even designed. Like, let me see if I can find it and link it, so y'all know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But
totally.
It was so great.
And that's the feeling you should have backing your project. Is like, I didn't even want this project, but I'm really glad I could support them. It shouldn't be like, oh my god, I'm trying to support you and you're making it hard for me.
Exactly. Yeah. But I just posted. I'm not giving away any panties. They're mine.
I don't blame you.
They're mine. But like they've got rainbow first blood. Like I'm sorry, it's disgusting, but at the same time, it's hilarious. Like you have to be able to laugh at that because it's a part of life and it's just something that happens. And if you can't have fun with it, you're going to be miserable. So I think it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
See, they're badass, aren't they, Savvy? They're amazing.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Savvy. Savvy's like, I had to post the game.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay.
But that's what it was such a great process, and it wasn't confusing. And okay, sorry.
It's all good. Let's move on. This is going to be the last Kickstarter video of today, and don't worry, guys, I saved my favorite for last, which means that you're probably all going to rip it to shreds. That being said, let's look at Time Spinner. I was going to say Time Splitters, but that's another amazing game. This is Time Spinner.
In the night, soldiers invaded our village. My mother and I fled to the only sanctuary we knew.
They look very alike.
The Time Spinner was our last hope to undo the past. But they were right behind us. They destroyed my family and my home. I will destroy them all. I will bend time to my will and hunt them down throughout history. No one will stop me.
Yeah, that game looks awesome.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Also, yay, female pro tag.
Yeah?
That makes me happy.
Those animations, like retro style for sure. Like it looks like a 32-bit, and they've really put some time into those animations. Even the spin when she jumped, the shading is all proper. Like it looked really, really awesome.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
That was very good. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm actually I'm scrolling through the rewards. Like, I can't afford to back it, but I want to look and see what the tiers are. Okay, they did these tiers very reasonably.
Yeah, this
like we were just talking about it.
Oh, Vita. Vita. I want to play it on my Vita. That would be fun.
Yeah, I like the concept is nice. It's it's pretty straightforward, but it puts enough of a twist on it that it's interesting.
I'm actually really happy with indie games lately. I love that Metroidvania is becoming a thing. I just went through all my old crap at my mother's house and found my original Game Boy with Metroid 2, and I can't stop playing it. So it's so nice. This looks like a really cool Metroidvania. I love the progression. I assume you're going to be able to choose your own progression for abilities and that kind of thing. So it's going to be really cool. Yep, exactly, Savvy. I have my Vita taped to the side of it and just use it then. Even like the classic bosses and stuff. It looks so neat. Anyway, want to see this one made. Pretty sure it's going to be back. They need 50 grand. They're already at 40 grand and they have 26 days left.
Yeah, they're totally gonna make it.
That's really neat. I like some of the symbols they have too, like even their avatar and stuff. That's very sorry, I keep pausing because I can hear myself and it's weirding me out.
Yeah. Feedback interruption.
Yes. The Lunar Ray Games avatar is very distinctive. That's the word I'm looking for. It helps it stand out more.
Yeah, very much so. So, go buy this game because it's awesome.
Yeah, they had the early bird. It's all gone.
Yeah.
But they've got, it's $15 to back it. You get a digital copy, in-game familiar skin, PDF instruction booklet, and you get your name in the credits. That's pretty standard for Kickstarter games, I found.
That's better than what you get on a lot of Steam games.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
$25 is early access as well.
Mhm. And they have, they're on Kickstarter. They're on.
Oh, really?
Sorry, I'm starting to get really tired.
It's
They're
all good.
On Greenlight. Oh my God, I can't brain
Steam
right now.
Greenlight?
Yeah, they're on Greenlight. I posted the link. I can post it again if y'all want me to.
Yeah, it's all good. From the rich story worlds of Star Ocean, Castlevania, and Mega Man X. I am so into this game.
Yeah, the style, like it works for this game. There are some games that they use the Metroidvania style, and it's like, oh my God, you guys stop.
Yeah.
Milking the retro thing, but on this game it doesn't feel contrived.
No, it looks.
It feels like that's what it was meant to be made for.
Whispered made a point earlier about color palettes, and I think it goes without saying here that they've really even chosen their color palettes. You can tell the different levels or different times that have different palettes, but even those are in a broader theme that kind of ties the whole game together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like this one. I like, this is really, really geeky. I really like the animation of her orbs going around her.
Mhm.
Looks good.
I thought it was really funny that her and her mom are like the exact same sprite.
Yeah,
her mom's hair is a little more washed out, but that's it.
They're twinsies. I couldn't tell, like, it said, my mother and I, but she was in front and then the mother was running behind her, and I thought, like, the mother was the one wearing pants.
Yeah.
Like, that was a little confusing. It took me a second. But, yeah, that's like one of those small, I may be on painkillers also quibbles.
Oh, it's all good.
Still recovering, so.
Yeah. However, that is going to draw today's newscast to a close.
Yay!
Yeah, so now you can go back to bed.
I am so going back to bed. Yes.
Thank you both so much for joining me. That was a blast. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for
It was fun.
Some good games,
Yeah,
some
thanks,
bad
Ezra.
games, good videos, some bad videos.
Yeah, just one thing to remember, if we've got any game devs in the audience, just if you have any questions about like marketing your game, get a test first. Ask people who aren't also game devs. Ask friends and family how it would look if they saw whatever it is you're writing, whatever video you're making. Ask them, would this interest you? Because otherwise you risk just forming a bubble, and then the only people who understand what the hell you're trying to do are people that you've like coached.
Yeah.
You know,
And
or who also do the same thing. It just doesn't help.
To further that point as well, in our magazine, in the Indie Game magazine, we have a monthly column by my cousin-in-law, who works as the head of user experience at EA Vancouver. So he gives all this advice about playtesting, that kind of thing, and it's very important. Something that game devs don't do enough of is finding people to play their games that they have no connection to. It's like you get your husband or wife to play the game that you've been making, they're not going to tell you that it's crap.
Well, some
Yeah.
might, but you know.
Some might.
Some
That's
of them
another
might,
issue.
yeah, exactly. But I think the thing that it's you get so busy and you get so into what you're doing that you don't want to spend that extra effort trying to get it out to a bunch of people, particularly if you have spent so much time working on the game that you feel like, okay, it's ready, we just need to get it out there. But
Yeah.
that playtest is so important.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so important, and you need to learn how to market it. And we get so many emails at IGM where, you know, people will just send a link with no explanation, or they'll be like, hey guys, I made a game, hope you enjoy it, here's a review code. And it's like, I have no idea who you are, you know, like,
Yep.
and that shouldn't matter, but give some background, you know, and sell it. Like, people need, sell yourself, be proud of what you've done, make the effort to write a missive about it and run that missive by people, because if you don't seem like you're proud of the game, that's going to carry through
There are
to whoever's
even
playing it or reviewing it.
there are even some larger games I could have done with a little more playtesting, and I'm thinking specifically of the article that you just wrote for the magazine.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
one I don't think had enough playtesting for the tutorial phase.
No, it really didn't. The tutorial, yeah. I can't go into more detail about it without ruining the article, but
Yeah, exactly.
Our magazine comes out on Tuesday, you guys.
Yes.
By the way,
Yes.
Our July issue. We actually have equipment reviews this time. We're starting gear reviews. So
Was it
we're reviewing.
Unreal this month? Did we do the Unreal Engine this month?
I don't know. We did a keyboard, headset, and mouse.
Yeah, perfect. I know that we were doing that one, and we were trying to do some software too. Anyway, lots of great stuff. Great game reviews, great tech reviews. So yeah, check it out, indiegamemag.com. Or just click that link. Thank you very much, Savvy.
Yeah, thanks, Savvy. I forgot what the command was. That's why I hadn't did it yet. Fabulous. Yeah, it does. We'll work on it. It's all good. But if you go to indiegamemag.com, there's a link to subscribe to the magazine. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. It's cheap
but
too.
They are, and you can get a print version too, as well as an online version if you want.
Yeah, and I
So-
believe it's like $2 an issue, or like $25 for a full year.
Yeah, it's
So.
$2.50 per issue or $25 for a full year. So you actually get a discount if you order a year's subscription.
There you go.
As far as magazines go, that's decent. Like, that's a decent price.
Yep. Okay.
For the amount of content. Okay, we're out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. From everybody here at IGM, thank you very much. We will see you. We have some awesome shows coming up. I'm really excited, actually. Sorry. I'm really excited for Average Giants tomorrow. We have one of the original guests from Average Giants making a reappearance with his game, which now has multiplayer. I'm not going to say what it is, because you guys are just going to have to come watch it. And then we have some cool stuff throughout the entire week. So come and join us. And until then, much love, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yay! Bye.